Last year altogether, we gave out over 1,000 scholarships at an average of about $3,000 each. If you're good at math, you'll know that that comes out to about $3 million, which is fantastic. We see the impact every day, but as you also know, and as Francois said, we still have a long way to go. Now, to talk about that, I want to introduce Tom Fink. Tom is the PSU class of 1971. He and his wife, Marilyn, have been great supporters of Portland State and indeed of many other worthwhile causes in our city. They donate money, but also a lot of time. And Tom is the co-chair of our scholarship campaign called Creating Futures. Please welcome Tom Fink.
I was a little disappointed in Vim's remarks in that normally he introduces Alice because I wanted to follow up with that with giving an introduction to my wife, Marilyn, of 38 years. So would we please welcome Marilyn now.
Thanks, Tom.
Good evening and welcome to all of our students and our donors. Following my graduation from Tillamook High School, yes, I'm from the land of cheese, trees, and ocean breeze, my possible futures were about here. But when I graduated from Portland State University, my possible futures grew to here. I was the first in our family to attend and graduate from college. We now call that equal access. Not smart enough, not athletic enough, I did not qualify for a scholarship. But in a way, I was on scholarship. You see, when I graduated from Portland State over 40 years ago, the level of support from the state of Oregon was different. Oregon financed higher education at the rate of 80% of the total tuition, and I, the student, paid the balance, or that 20%. Working during the summer in a plywood mill in Tillamook, I earned a living wage, and I was able to save enough money to pay that balance of my 20% of tuition. And I graduated with no debt. Well, unfortunately, those numbers have now flipped. The state of Oregon now supports 20% of the total tuition bill, and you, the student, are now responsible for the other 80%. And most of you graduate with average debt around $25,000. And by the way, that plywood mill in Tillamook, it closed many years ago. This has been a game changer for you, the student. It could be argued that it is also a game changer for our state and our nation. Marine, test pilot, astronaut, and Senator John Glenn, our speaker at Simon Benson several years ago, asked a profound question. What has made America great? His answer, public education. And I agree. Why do I give back to PSU? Among my brothers and sisters, we have 3 PSU graduates. My BS in economics opened the world to me, Marilyn, and our 3 daughters. I was fortunate to have an internship in Istanbul, Turkey, the summer following graduation, 1971. I traveled in both Western and Eastern Europe, and then I was off to the continent of Africa for a year, exploring, hitchhiking, working, doing safaris, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and selling pens in Southwest Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, and Swaziland, and making a lot of lifelong friends. Upon my return to Portland in 1973, my first employer, Standard Insurance Company of Portland, Oregon, said, "Young man, if you can sell pens in Africa, we're sure you can sell insurance in Oregon." My life is richer because of PSU. So why do we give back to PSU? Feeling fortunate and blessed, Marilyn and I believe in the value of a good education like many others in our PSU family. We cannot begin to count the many phone calls we have made over the years to grade schools, high schools, and universities asking graduates, fellow citizens, and community leaders to pay it forward. That is why Marilyn and I chose to support an annual scholarship earned by students making those phone calls, asking PSU alumni to give back. This telefund team plants the seeds for current and future gifts to PSU. The first ask and the first gift is always the most challenging. Once that gift is secured, the door is open for future contributions. There are so many examples of a $100 gift turning into a larger annual gift, and then perhaps even a legacy gift. PSU asked a former MBA graduate to be a $50,000 sponsor for our Simon Benson event. He said yes, and that was his first gift to PSU. Because of what he saw at the Simon Benson event, he then donated another $1 million. And most recently, he's now contributed an additional $8 million to our new business building and is leading their fundraising campaign. Where would it be if PSU had not asked? I believe that Portland State University is in the wealth transfer business. I've been carrying around this article, this newspaper article, for about the last 30 years, and I'd like to read a short portion to you. The traditional idea of inheritance, in which you gained a privileged position in society because your daddy handed you a castle or a fortune, is out of date. Instead, modern society transfers wealth early when society pays for an education, which is the real source of opportunity today. There is upward mobility and downward mobility, and it is determined by education. Those words were true 30 years ago, and they're true today. Working with so many others, I feel privileged to have been asked by PSU to support our scholarship campaign and honored to be part of advancing educational opportunities for students in our community and beyond. Thank you very much.